Thank you so much for joining me. I am so excited because I have Angie Conrad, our Director of Communications here, and we are going to chat all things ingredients. Hello, Angie.
Hi, Heidi. Thank you for having me. I am thrilled to be here talking about one of my favorite topics, ingredients, which I know is one of yours as well.
It sure is. I know you're an avid reader of all things beauty related, including what companies put in their skincare, body care, and hair care products, to name just
Yes.
name a few. So I'm thrilled that we're here to chat about it. And of course, we can't cover every ingredient. And so in 15 minutes, we're going to kind of summarize some hot topics because there's some things that you've probably seen on the internet. There's probably things that maybe you've seen on social media, and you're like, I wonder if there's any truth to that. So we're going to chat about what our philosophy is here at Lemongrass and how that pertains to certain things that you might see popping up in the news. So today we want to share things that you can show your skin some love by really being a little more particular about what you put on your skin, because you can absorb so many, unfortunately, toxic chemicals when you're selecting body care, hair care, even makeup. So there are a lot of toxic and questionable ingredients we're going to be chatting about tonight. So you know what? While there are over 1,300 chemicals banned in the EU, the US has only banned 11. For over 20 years, we've diligently chosen to use effective ingredients that either directly benefit the skin or support the ingredients that do. And so we're very selective in what we put in our products. And so we're going to cover at least 9 ingredients tonight that you really should be watching for because of the harmful effects it might have on your health as well as our environment. So I'm going to start with a hot button ingredient, Angie, and it's been in the news a lot, and that is talc.
Yes, Heidi, talc has been everywhere, and you've heard about it in baby powders, in dry shampoo, and even in mineral makeup.
Yeah, we sure do. We've heard about it everywhere, just like you said. And it's harmful when used as like a finishing powder for mineral foundations. Also, as you probably have heard in the news, very harmful when used as a powder form for baby powders, but then also for dry shampoos. And the question becomes, what happens when it's inhaled and how it might cause long-term respiratory damage or irritation to your eyes? And also because talc can be laced with asbestos. Ew. That's one of the problems that we know we would never use talc in our products. So let's talk about what we do use instead. Angie, you've got some great information and tips for people who are watching tonight.
Well, there are safe alternatives to talc. One of the reasons that it's used is because it's so absorbent. So our dry shampoo, for example, is formulated with arrowroot because of how effective it is in absorbing oil, and it helps with freshness. It also gives your hair that beautiful volume that you want, especially if it's like the day after you shampoo or two, depending on how often you use it.
Yeah, and speaking of the dry shampoo, another huge plus to using ours that has arrowroot is it's aerosol free. And so we're not also,
Yes.
not only have we avoided talc, but anything aerosol we just don't have in our product line at all. And so that's a huge one for the environment. And also as you breathe in those chemicals that are included in a lot of the aerosol products. So lots of pluses on the dry shampoo and mineral makeup front, right, Angie?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, another ingredient that we avoid, but we still see it a lot in multiple products across the board, and it's oxybenzone. That's another one we avoid. This sunscreen agent and ultraviolet light absorber is found in the majority of over-the-counter sunscreens. You see it in the aerosol sprays. You see it in a lot of the topical lotion sunscreens. It's everywhere. So it's one of the first things I look for when I'm going to purchase sunscreen. And unfortunately, it acts like estrogen in the body. And so it's definitely very harmful long term if you have any concern at all about estrogen disruption. As a result, it's linked to certain things like endometriosis and altered sperm production. So listen, that's something you definitely want to avoid. It's a high risk chemical. And you can find it in sunscreens, some tinted moisturizers, even mineral foundations. So they'll maybe combine minerals, but then also add the oxybenzone. So to substitute that out, we use titanium dioxide instead, or avobenzone. Those are options that you can look for in your sunscreens, but also just making sure that you're using sunscreen with a physical barrier. And sometimes it's the oxides that are used for that purpose. What else can people be looking for, Angie, or some of the other pitfalls when it comes to sunscreen?
Well, one of the things that we talk about so much is the impact that ingredients could have on our health. But one of the other areas that we look at is what is the impact that these ingredients have on the environment. And so oxybenzone has been shown to be a danger to our environment. What it does is it can be harmful to coral reefs. Coral reefs are an integral part of our marine life. It's a source of food for marine animals. And the oxybenzone has been found to kill off coral reefs, as well as alter the DNA so that when new coral reef is forming, that it's not forming the way that it should and not providing the nutrients that it should for the environment. So that's something we definitely want to stay away from. And it has been banned in Hawaii, the Virgin Islands, and Aruba for these reasons. And a few other countries are taking steps to reduce the concentrations of oxybenzone, but you still want to avoid that ingredient completely. Now, at Lemongrass Spa here, you can find our liquid foundation and our mineral foundations provide that natural physical barrier using the combination of minerals, like Heidi said, the zinc oxide and titanium dioxide, which, by the way, are always non-nanoparticle.
I'm so glad that you added that as well. Non-nanoparticle is definitely something that you want to be aware of when you're looking at minerals used in makeup and cosmetics. So good thing. Well, let's move on to the next one. This is another hot topic. See it very often. And for some reason, there's so many companies that still continue to use it. And it's parabens, methylparaben, isobutyl paraben, propylparaben, and probably others I can't pronounce, right? So at their most basic, parabens, anything that ends in paraben, right? It's a family of preservatives. And of course, preservatives are necessary in utilizing for products that have water. Any kind of water-based product or any product that has water in it has to be preserved somehow. And so we just opt for safer options. So it's used to extend the shelf life and inhibit the growth of bacteria and mold. Those are good things, but there are other options.
Yes.
But one of the things is, again, the estrogen disruption with parabens is really at the forefront. But there's also another big issue. What would you like to add to that, Angie? There's a lot of information about parabens.
There's a lot of information, and we can probably do a whole talk just on parabens. But some of the things that you can find too is parabens have been found in drinking water. It's also been found in surface waters. And so there's concern that it's disrupting those bacterial ecosystems that are really important for water quality. So those are things we definitely don't want to consume. Heidi had talked about you need it for the water-based products. So think of that as like your lotions, your cleansers, foundation, a lot of times makeups. So all those things that you stay on your skin, and also those products that you wash off of your skin. So we use safer preservatives that are always paraben-free. They're also formaldehyde-free, right, Heidi?
Exactly. Yep, we're very careful with that as well. They're much gentler and safer. There's several studies, and one of the biggies with parabens as well that was discovered years ago was the link to, breast cancer and even skin cancer. So these are definitely ingredients you want to be aware of and avoid if you can. The next one, Angie, is phthalates. Now, when you read the word phthalates online, you're like, how do you even pronounce this? Because it starts with the letters pH, PHTH, right? So phthalates, it's a whole class of plasticizing chemicals used to make products more pliable. And it also helps fragrances adhere to skin. So really long lasting fragrances tend to have phthalates, not always. The industry has done tremendous amount of cleaning up to do, but I still see it in a lot of fragrance companies. So it's found in fragrances, nail polish, hairspray, a lot of hairsprays, I see it, and also
Yes.
plastic materials. Even some grocery store receipts contain phthalates. This was news to me just a few years ago, and I was like, oh my goodness. So
Yes.
it really is everywhere. So Angie, what do you have to add? I mean, again, this could be another 20 minutes just on phthalates, but what else would you
It
add to that
could.
conversation for people to really take care of themselves and be aware?
Well, you mentioned synthetic fragrances. And when you're buying body care products, you want to smell good. I want a lotion that has just an incredible scent to it so that I can smell it all day and also that it works. You won't find any synthetic fragrances in our products. They're all made with natural botanical extracts, essential oils, and we don't add anything to it. There's no synthetic additives to those fragrances either. And those include our brand new and fresh collections, the cactus and guava, and sandalwood. So if you have not tried those, you need to try them now. They are incredible.
Yeah, they are. They smell amazing, and you really won't know the difference. The other thing is we'll use a
No.
lot of essential oils, like you mentioned, spearmint eucalyptus. I can't even say it. Spearmint eucalyptus. It is a fan favorite. We've offered it for over 10 years, and people just love the freshness of it. So it's just one of many examples of either essential oils, or if you'd rather use all natural, more fruit scented items, or the fresh cactus and guava, like you mentioned, or the sandalwood for a more woodsy essence. Those are amazing to use.
Yes,
And
they are.
one of the most shocking ingredients that we chatted about recently, Angie, was that was the ingredient
I'm
called
just
carmine.
laughing.
I know, because this is one of those that people are like, what? You're kidding. Maybe you didn't know, but there are insects used in some color cosmetics. And even though you might be thinking to yourself, what? I don't think any company would actually crush up insect parts and put them in cosmetics to make colors. It actually does happen very frequently. Even though carmine is technically considered natural, it is a colorant we will never use in our makeup. We've never done that. To create the dye, this really red, brilliant dye that's used in blushes, eyeshadows, but a lot of times lipsticks and lip glosses, these insects are harvested, dried out, and ground up to produce the dark, deep red color that's in powder form. And then companies add it to their formulations. It's mostly produced in Peru, but it also can originate in Mexico. Now, it does create incredible colors that last, but I don't know
Yes.
about you. I am not so keen on adding carmine to my lipstick or my makeup routine. How about you, Angie?
I am definitely not, especially coming from being a vegan. I do not want to use any carmine in my lipstick, especially lipstick. You're going to be probably eating a little bit of it, even by accident. But again, there are alternatives to it that still produce those beautiful, rich colors that you're looking for. You can find iron oxides, mica, titanium dioxide, again, always non-nano with our mineral ingredients. And if you check out some of our beautiful lipsticks as well as the lip glosses, all of the shades of mineral eyeshadow and blush, Heidi, that hibiscus blush is beautiful, and it has a hue that many companies may have used carmine to create, and ours does not have it in there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And just as a parent too, I remember thinking and looking in the grocery aisle at a lot of the different drinks that were red colored.
Oh,
Some of them are created with carmine, like a strawberry drink or a berry or a cherry, and then FD and C red and yellow colorants, and even the blues. FD and C colorants it's another whole group of ingredients we do not use at Lemongrass Spa. And it's another one that
Yes.
can really wreak havoc on your health. So be conscious of that as well in the drink aisle and in your makeup and cosmetics, any of those as well. So next on our list is sodium lauryl sulfate and sodium lauryl sulfate. So SLS, SLES is a lot of the acronyms are on labels. These are surfactants that can cause skin irritation and actually trigger a lot of allergies. They've been shown to contribute to skin irritations, like things like canker sores and disruption of the skin's natural oil balance, and even some eye damage. So they're widely believed to contribute to things like acne, particularly around the mouth and chin. Another issue with SLS, where at first glance it's like, oh, it may not be that harmful, but sometimes it's contaminated with a chemical called 1,4-dioxane, and it's a byproduct of the petrochemical process that's known to cause a lot of respiratory issues. So we know that we want to stay away from it because it's also been linked to some kidney and liver damage. So in short, it's not for us. It's not an ingredient that we have ever used at Lemongrass in any of our body washes or our shampoos, conditioners. That's usually where we see it in the industry.
Yes, Heidi, you had mentioned about having irritation to skin. The other thing it can do is it's really drying to skin. Some people, and I'm one of those, if it has SLS or SLES, I can't use it because it causes dryness and cracking, at least on my skin. And there, you don't just find it in skincare. You find it in things like mouthwash, toothpaste, and common household cleaning products. Now, I don't think any of us are out there applying household cleaning products to our skin, but you will come in contact with it. Think if you're using a detergent or you're cleaning your counters, you're ready to prep food on it. So you can find trace amounts on you. And if somebody gets those skin irritations, then brushing up against something for some people can cause itching and, again, that dryness.
Yeah. And so, my first thought is people are thinking to themselves, well, then why do companies use it in their formulations? What it does is it helps increase the volume that's in the bottle. It helps foam and suds and all those things that we love in our bubble baths and our body washes and our shampoos, but your skin doesn't need it, and neither does the environment. And so that's why we've opted for prebiotics instead that really help feed the healthy pH of your skin, as well as helpful with the environment as well, because it's a toxin free.
Yep.
Next up is synthetic flavor or fragrance. We wanted to touch on this quickly because the word fragrance it's just a blanket statement for so many tens of thousands of actual chemicals being used. And at their most basic, these fragrances are engineered scents or flavoring agents that may contain a combination of a lot of different chemical ingredients. Sometimes they can be hormone disrupting, and they can be highly allergic. For a lot of people can be highly allergic to some fragrances. What's worse, fragrance formulas are protected under a classification of trade secrets. So a lot of them are undisclosed. We've taken a different approach here at Lemongrass, and we focus on the all-natural scenting using the botanicals, plant extracts, and essential oils. And I know, Angie, you touched on that a little bit earlier, and you had some really great points with that.
Thank you, Heidi. The other thing you mentioned, flavoring. Now, you may not be thinking flavoring in cosmetics. How? Well, think of your lip balm. Your lip balm's flavored. If you purchase a lip balm at a store, it's not often you're probably purchasing one that has no taste to it. And here, like Heidi said, we use the all-natural plant botanicals or essential oils you can find in all of our lip balms, and you get those fun fruity flavors like tangerine or hibiscus berry in the tinted lip balms. And in fact, Heidi, tinted, we're talking about flavor, but if you think about the hibiscus berry tinted lip balm, it's got that deep purple color that goes on nice and sheer, right? Well, again, there's no carmine in it. It's just natural minerals that that create that beautiful shade, and it
That's a
tastes
great
really good.
example. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's an excellent example, not only with the tinting that we use, but of course also the flavor oil. So that's good. Another hot topic is PEGs, and we're almost at the end of our list, Angie, on what we're going to cover tonight. But PEGs, propylene and propylethylene glycol, not ingredients that we use here at Lemongrass. They're widely used in thickeners, solvents, softeners, and moisture carriers in a lot of skincare lotions. I see it. Facial creams, serums, and a lot of kids' products. Oh, it just makes me sad. They're found also in facial scrubs and exfoliating washes. While PEGs themselves aren't harmful, they can cause irritation used on broken skin. And the big problem is they're frequently contaminated with ethylene oxide. It's a known carcinogen. So of course, once again, we want to stay away from that. It's obviously not good for our sewage systems or our waterways as well. And so I mentioned, they're in a lot of sunscreen, shampoos, exfoliants, but what do we use instead, Angie, where people can feel really confident coming to our brand and making some alternative selections?
Well, we have several alternatives. The first is in our exfoliants. You'll find natural jojoba beads, as well as that, like in the charcoal detox facial polish, and then also sugar in all of the body polishes and body scrubs that we have. They're natural exfoliants, they're biodegradable, and they make your skin soft and moisturized. Plus, then to help with thickening or emulsifying so that you keep that oil and water together, we use vegetable derived thickeners and a sunflower seed based emulsifier. So the emulsifier is all natural and doesn't contain any of those harmful ingredients or possible carcinogens.
Yeah, one of the things that a lot of companies use is another ingredient called polysorbate. And we opted years ago to take it out of our formulations because, again, there can be some contamination issues. And with polysorbate 80, 20, or 60, it's an option that we decided long ago, you know what? People can, customers are savvy enough, they can shake before using. So you may even notice in like our hydrating body spritz and mists, for example, the oil may separate from the water. Give it a good shake, apply it, and you've used one less ingredient that could potentially cause allergies or issues with skin dryness or irritation.
Heidi, we have talked about all these ingredients to avoid, but what about the good ingredients?
Exactly. So here's some ingredients that might sound really scary, but they're not. They're great for your skin. What's the first one, Angie, that we wanted to cover?
The first one is niacinamide. Now, it's hard to say, and it looks like a kind of scary ingredient when you, right? But
It
it's
does.
vitamin B3. That is such a great ingredient. It helps soften the skin. It helps with brightening the look of the skin. It also gives it a little bit of suppleness. And we use that in several of our body care products, including our Sedona Spa and Hamptons Cove body serum. And we have a brand new birthday cake shimmer mist, which is delicious, and it's really
Oh,
good for your
it
skin.
is. It smells great. And it is so hydrating in terms of an ingredient. And that vitamin B3
Yes.
does support the skin's barrier. It kind of gives it its own little vitamin boost, right? So it helps the skin perform better and stay softer longer. That's what I notice most about it. The next one on our list that we're giving a big shout out to, and again, it sounds a little scary at first, hyaluronic acid. It sounds harsh, right? But it actually helps improve hydration so much by drawing water to the skin's surface. It's like a sponge that leaves the skin dewy and really soft, and it gives you the appearance of plump, supple skin. And so we put it in our vitamin C, our apple elixir serums, and the probiotic eye gel. I love that product.
I do
Use it
too.
on the daily. We were just chatting about, it might be a little nice perk me up midday, just when you're feeling your eyes might be a little bit tired. Maybe you're a mom and you haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately with little ones, or the dog woke you up at midnight. Whatever the circumstances are, but that hyaluronic acid is a skin savior. And I do think if you've never tried a product with it, you're going to have noticeable results.
Yes, absolutely.
And the last one on our list, Angie, is squalene. Let's talk a little bit about that one.
Well, squalene is derived from olives. Now, there are two different squalenes to look for, right, Heidi? Now, the
There
first
are.
one we use is squalene, Lane. Now, again, that's the one derived from olives. The other ingredient that you'll find occasionally, but you don't find as much anymore in cosmetics, but you do see it sometimes, is squalene with an Lene. And that is derived from sharks, and we avoid using that one. So what does squalene do? Squalene locks in moisture. It's also a pretty powerful antioxidant, and it helps reduce the appearance of aging. Now, it gives the texture of your products that real soft, buttery feel. It's silky smooth, like in the body serums. And Heidi, I know one of your favorite products.
Yeah, the body serum is amazing, but also the coconut rehab cream.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, it's my favorite moisturizer in our line because it absorbs so quickly. And I love how it leaves that silky smooth finish without a lot of excess oil. And you can use it whether you have normal to dry skin and even on the side of blemish prone as well. But it also really helps smooth the look of uneven texture. And some people really have an issue with that. Like, parts of their skin on their face feels really smooth and soft, but others maybe not so much. It really does kind of even that out and make your skin look more radiant every time that you use it. Well, this has been such a great call. Angie, thank you so much. I'm curious about our viewers tonight, and I would love to hear
Yes.
from you. What was your biggest takeaway? Were you a little bit shocked about carmine? Was hyaluronic acid a scary word? And now it might be like, oh, I need to go look for a product with that ingredient in it. Drop in the comments what a couple of your takeaways were, what you learned tonight, and maybe any questions you have for us in the future as well. So we can continue to bring you a lot of educational information as well as spectacular products in the coming months and years.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks again, Angie. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Heidi.
Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.